Chris Helder. Welcome to Courageous Conversations.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to see you again, Leanne.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see you too. Now you are in Sydney, but we'll get to that and why you're in town, why you escaped Melbourne a little bit later. But firstly, I mean, obviously, we all the real estate industry know you very well as a trainer and speaker, and you've done a lot of work with Lang and Simmons, but certainly with agents around the country.
Yep.
But tell me, how did you get there? What's your early career? What does that look like?
Well, geez, I suppose, I don't think I've lost the accent just yet, Leanne, but gosh, I've been in Australia now since 1996, so I've been here a long time. I got into real estate in 1996, and, sure enough, you arrive in a new country, and why not go sell some real estate? So that was what I did. I did that for about 7 years, and then, eventually I started to train real estate companies on how to do different things, and one thing led to another, and I sort of partnered up at the time with this other guy, and sort of that went for a couple of years, and then I said, this is what I'm going to do full time. And that's expanded out now past real estate. I work in all different industries, and, I've got a background in psychology and sociology as well. Okay. So I think combining all that with, mindset, getting, what's success mindset really look like, and what's the brain, understanding how our brain works, and then combining that with sales skill, I love an audience. Yeah, and I always have. So I found my calling.
You're just a born show-off, right?
A little bit, probably. A little bit.
And so, I mean, there's a lot of real estate agents out there that do a little bit of speaking and training. How did it actually, how did you transition from doing a little bit of speaking and training to, this full-blown career?
I think because I had the different hook of psychology, neurolinguistic programming, sociology. I'd studied my neurolinguistics with a guy called Marvin Oka, who's a bit of a guru. And so I think I had a good story, that didn't just keep me in real estate training, but actually expanded me out. I wrote a sales book, and then that really opened things up for me as well in terms of, working in all different industries. And, and that's going on now. I mean, I'm huge in hair care and skincare right now, Leanne.
I can definitely tell you're glowing.
What have I done? I've done like 3 skincare conferences this year. So, but I mean, it goes in, all different industries. And of course, real estate is still number one. That and financial services probably go 1, 2. And just to, I get it because I was in there and I know it. I've been able to work with a lot of the top agents, both in America and Australia and New Zealand.
And so you mentioned that you wrote a book, and that's when things sort of really kicked up to the next level. What was your process behind writing that book?
So the first book I wrote was called Stop Selling, right? And the idea behind it was that stop being such a salesperson and how to gain rapport. And I'd come up with this little circle of influence that I still use, actually. And it was so simple. It was so simple. In fact, I remember when I wrote it, my oldest son was in year 1. I think it's something like that when I wrote that book. And I still remember him going to school for show and tell, and he brought the book and he comes home. He goes, Dad, I read your book to the class. And I was like, what do you mean? You showed him the cover. And he goes, no. I read him the first page about how you met Mom. And I was like, so clearly at that time I wrote at a first grade level. So it was very simple ideas, but the simple ideas are effective. And I think, over the years, the thing that people have always said, I think, about me is that I'm able to take complicated ideas and simplify them so people can use them. And I think that's one of the mistakes. A lot of trainers overcomplicate things. I think when you overcomplicate things, people can't take action. They get frozen. They get paralyzed. So I think my ability to make things simple has been a huge part of what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've written how many books now?
Well, Stop Selling, I sort of incorporated into the book How to Influence People, which is still out today. So that I sort of redid that and made that better. And then I've written 3 other books, which Cut the Noise. I've just come out with The Simple Shift, and then of course Useful Belief, which has been, I think is now what I'm known for. And that book is Wiley Publishing tells me that's now the highest selling business book going. So that's pretty incredible.
Wow. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
And so how long does it take you? What is your process when it comes to writing?
It's funny, Leanne. I got asked this question on Facebook the other day. Somebody sent me a message. They're trying to write something. And I said, so with useful belief, I was in Canberra and I was locked in a, basically just locked myself away in a hotel for 4 days, and I smashed it out. And I just had this idea and I wanted to go away, and I was in Canberra for something else. And I literally, I don't know if it was day or night, I pulled this, I just sort of between red wine and coffee, I just made it happen. And in 4 days, I smashed this out. It was just awesome.
That's amazing.
Even in 4 days, amazing how much the story changed. I had this initial idea, because it's actually a fable. It's written as a story, so it's a short story. Yeah. And so it was just even amazing, like what I originally went in with in my brain to write down, and as the story evolved, and it was funny where The Simple Shift, which is my latest book, is sort of my favorite things to talk about in a lot of ways over my career. And it's sort of a collection of not overcomplicating things, but making a simple shift in our lives. And that probably took me a little longer. That's probably about 6 months that I probably chipped away at that. And it was sort of figuring out how I wanted that to sort of go. So I don't think I've got any one set thing. So no pearls of wisdom for anyone there. I think inspiration's a funny thing. And I think when you feel that level of inspiration, you go with it.
It's really about taking action, right?
It's just like everything in life. I think it's really about taking action. And I think, and that's a big part of useful belief. And The Simple Shift is getting yourself, and it's exciting right now with everything the agents are going through, with everything businesses are going through, because I'm in the right lane coming out of this COVID time. And I'm in the right lane helping people get their business going. And I think, right now this is about, there's going to be opportunities in the second half of this year or the first half of the financial year. And I think it's about making sure that we're seeing the opportunities. We're using our brain to identify that there are opportunities out there. So I'm really excited to be working with people and helping people through this time.
Yeah, amazing. I haven't read The Simple Shift yet, but I will make sure that I do, because I did love
copy, Leanne.
Thank you very much. I did enjoy useful belief, and it's a concept that really resonates for me, because a lot of the things that we talk about, a lot of things that we put out there just aren't useful. They're not going to move us forward. You can't change them.
Can't change them.
Yeah.
Well, we're all dealing with a lot of those things at the moment.
Are we though?
Every day seems to look different again, but but look, this has been huge. It's been put to the test during this time, Leanne. I mean, the bottom line is, every day we get, and I'm talking a lot about stimulus response at the moment. We get hit every day with stimulus, whether a premier says something, the prime minister says something, a health minister says something, and now, and obviously dealing with the different states, and now Victoria's not doing open for inspections again, and, talking to all the different agents, and there's just things they cannot control. And then within that, if you can't control it or won't change it, then you got to come up with a useful belief about it. And then you're going to be able to create your power. And this is about maintaining a level of power. And I think, it's really been put to the test, and it's amazing today. Oh, there you go. That was a motorcycle heading down the. I'm in a hotel in Bondi Beach, so there's a lot of action going on.
Life is tough. So tell me about how you felt and how you reacted and what you did at the beginning of COVID, because obviously the majority of your business, or if not all of your business, is about face-to-face out there in conference rooms and boardrooms around the world, talking to people, inspiring people. Tell me about everything that happened back in March.
Oh, man. I mean, I remember the day, March 12. You'll be able to say to me March 12 in 20 years, and I will know exactly what you're talking about. It's I was actually in Adelaide, and I was in the Qantas Lounge, and I just finished a gig for the REA Group, and I was doing a public thing for agents in Adelaide. And I remember it clear as day, because I walked into the Qantas Lounge, and I looked up, and on the TV, it said the NBA, the basketball league in America, the NBA had canceled their season. Or postpone their season. And it was like, that sort of hit me at that point. Like, I realized this is real.
This is real, yeah.
And I had 59 gigs ahead of me, which, I had a pretty nice 6 months lined up. And
far out. That's a lot. That's a lot of work, a lot of travel, but also a lot of money.
A lot of money. And it is to go literally have 59 gigs cancel in 72-hour period of time, and to watch that just turn into smoke. In now, some of them we were able to do some Zoom, and some of them we were able, are still sitting on the other side of this, and but there's no question it's been a huge hit, and Zoom doesn't pay the same as a face-to-face conference, and so there's just some realities around it. But having said that, I one of the things I've really tried to say to people is grief is a real thing, and you are allowed to feel bad. Like, I don't want anybody to think that I just went like, it's okay, 59 gigs, gone. That's all right, because I'm going to stay in a good mood. Like, I don't want to.
I've got a useful belief around this.
I reserve, and actually one of the things that really has come out of it, because I think a lot of people are dealing with this so differently, and we have to be so respectful of everybody's position in terms of going through this. I mean, whether, you've got elderly parents, or whether you're, it hasn't affected you at all, or other people are like, I've learned to speak Spanish and play the cello. My life is perfect, right? And then there's other people that are like, man, I had 59 gigs lined up and then went to 0. So, what I really has come out of this for me is again the reminder, and that grief is a part of any process, and the process of winning and losing, and the process of making sure that you go, okay, I'm going to allow myself to feel bad for a period of time, and then at what point is it no longer useful? And then that's the point where you go, okay, I've had my time, right? Just to go, because I think the thing is, and I think one of my realizations is it wasn't my fault, right? I mean, it's not like people were saying to me, hey, next year, coronavirus, you got to be prepared for it. And it's not like I didn't do something that I was supposed to do. It just was. So now it's all right. What's useful from here? And I mean, look at us, we all learned how to use Zoom and how to use Zoom effectively. And that's going to change things forever. I mean, that'll never replace the energy of a face-to-face. I am, but I definitely did that. I've done a lot of writing. I've done a lot of work. My son was at University of Melbourne. I've got 3 teenage sons. Mm-hmm. My oldest was at Ormond College at University of Melbourne. He's come back, and so I got, it's probably the last time we'll have that family unit like that. So it was savoring some of those things. You can come up with the useful beliefs. And, the one thing I'm really working on with people today, though, especially in real estate, is everyone's dealt with this time differently. And some people have been more effective than others, right? Some people really have worked. What I really want to get across, though, to the people that may not have, is because I think this has been epic proportion, unbelievable, crazy stuff. And if you were a person who goes, I really didn't do that good of a job, all right, then I think it's draw the line in the sand today. Let's not beat ourselves up about, guilt or shame or any of those things. But I think instead, drawing the line in the sand today and go, you know what? Okay, fine. This was a hard thing for agents. A lot of agents have gone down in terms of their money. A lot of agents are, down in terms of their transactions. A lot of agents are down in terms of their motivation and their mental wellness and their mental health. And all those things are such a huge part of what I do. And to make sure that whatever happened for you up till today, right? You had a reason why you didn't maybe bounce back as quickly as you could have. And it's okay you felt sad, and it's okay you felt down. And you're not alone in that. And that to draw a line now and go, bang, all right, what are we going to do now? This is day one. And this is day one. And because this is so impressive. Now, there are others of people listening go, I nailed it, Chris. I ranked my database. I did a great job. I stayed fit. I lost 10 pounds. And good. Congratulations. Also for you, day one. Bang. So this is a perfect time to really line up and get the team together and let's get a fresh start. And it was so exciting. I did escape. I shouldn't say that. I did get out of Victoria. And
you did escape because you were planning on coming into Sydney in a couple of weeks, but then when all of this hit, you literally just packed up your bags and ran, didn't you?
I literally came early, and earlier than I planned, and I did literally get the message, and I was on a plane. So I was on a plane that day, So I'm still a little bit in limbo getting everything set up, but I was in Sydney a few weeks ago, and so great. Just to, I did a series of live real estate trainings. And the group sizes range from 6 to probably about 30. And it was just fun, like even the small office to get back in front of people and, the intimacy that goes with that. And, and the truth is I probably had gotten to a place I wasn't doing very much of that anymore.
No, I was about to say that to you because your fees, as someone who books speakers, and I know that you always look after us with the rates anyway. However, your fees, they're quite expensive. So normally a single office can't afford you. But at the moment, you need to fill your time in Sydney, right?
Hey, what a beautiful segue, Leanne. Look, so here's the thing. I've got a big tour in Queensland, which is coming up in August. So I'm actually here for a period of time. So I'll be here until the 25th, I think.
Okay.
And so next week and the week after, I've got some spaces available. I've got some bookings as well, but I've got some spaces, and I'm really working within the confines of office budgets at the moment. I can give you sort of a round figure about what we're doing, but I'm not so worried about the money side right now. I'm excited to go to people's office and get in there and get some ideas across and help people. So with you guys, if there's an office that needs a kickstart,
a bit of an injection of Chris Helder energy,
a little bit of Chris Helder energy, then send me a message on chrishelder.com. And, I'm sure we can organize while I'm in Sydney the next 2 weeks to do this, because I've got a bit of, I'm beach running every morning. Let's see, the next few days I'm Bondi to Coogee in the afternoon, just on a walk. So I'm taking in some time, but because this wasn't planned, it is there's some time available, so I would love to help you out if I can.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I will reach out to all of my Lang & Simmons people,
Cool.
And of course this podcast goes a lot wider than Lang & Simmons. So anybody who's watching, please reach out to Chris, no matter what industry you're in. He is an awesome speaker in person. I mean, you can see the energy coming straight at me from Zoom as well.
That's so cool, Leanne. I have to say, I've had so many amazing Zoom conferences that I've been a part of. I did Prudential in China. I did the National Hockey League Conference in Canada. And it's so cool. The feedback has been, Chris, most Zoom conferences are so boring. You'd be able to bring energy through the Zoom. So it's been nice to get that feedback as well. But, just as you're just thinking about it, your network does go broad, Leanne. And, so I will be in Queensland. I'm doing a tour. I'll be in Queensland probably for most of August. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So starting the 27th or something, I'll be. So
okay. I've got a whole series. Yeah.
I've got a tour locked in. So anybody listening, I know next month I'm in Cairns at one point. I'm in Rockhampton. I'm in Townsville. I'm in Brisbane, Sunshine, Gold Coast. So.
Fantastic. And so their events, are they just public agent events for agents that you're putting on? Or
they're not, actually. Believe it or not, I got a big road show with a technology company. So
okay.
A little different again, but I'll be certainly available to talk to agents throughout Queensland.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll let my contacts up there know as well. So just one thing before I let you go. I know obviously everything's back in lockdown in Melbourne. I've had a lot of people saying to me, oh my God, Leanne, do you think that it's going to get worse in Sydney and we're going to be in lockdown again? And then, of course, I hear on the radio, on the TV, the promotion for the news tonight is the voiceover. Melbourne in lockdown. Is Sydney next?
Yeah.
What would you say to people that are starting to freak out in Sydney that maybe it is next for us as well?
Wow. And again, I think it is one day at a time right now. Yeah. And I think nobody's got the crystal ball. So I think, looking at today, right? It's I didn't expect it should be in Sydney today. And you go, okay, I didn't expect that last week. But anyway, it's every day is going to, I think right now it is one day at a time. I think we have to be very careful about what we're consuming and what we're listening to. Just to make sure we're not in a situation where we are in panic mode all day long. Get the headlines, know what's going on, and then make a plan accordingly. I think I feel like it is a weird time. I've got obviously my family's in lockdown starting today for the next 42 days. That's a little claustrophobic.
They're probably glad to see the back of you.
Can you imagine being? Well, they've been housebound with me for 3.5 months, so they were like,
I can't imagine.
Get out. No, look, I think a lot of people in Melbourne right now are a little frightened, and I think it is a useful belief time, in that I think, there are only so many things we can control, and, stimulus hits us. And the one thing I suppose that might be useful on this is, we get hit with stimulus, all the stimulus, and then we now have choice in how we're going to respond to it, right? Mm-hmm. And if we move into panic, so, is Sydney next, right? Stimulus, and then we move into panic. What happens is our brain goes into something called chaos thinking. Mm-hmm. And when we're in chaos thinking, we make all sorts of stupid decisions. We're not clear about what's going on, and with no clarity at all, we're not effective and productive in that side. So again, stimulus, is Sydney next, right? Instead, stop, be conscious. And that's my real message to people. Just be conscious and think to yourself, what's the most useful response to the situation that I'm dealing with now? And that leaves you to not positive and negative thinking, but it leads you to useful thinking. And I always say positive and negative thinking are not useful, right, overall, and useful thinking, right? Getting to a place where you're going, that's pragmatic, that's practical, that's results driven. So, again, just all that is about being conscious. I was talking to someone from Channel 7. It was that Daily Edition show or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the woman's like, Chris, how long does it take to actually get your brain into useful belief? And I'm like, I'm like, it doesn't take any time. It's just about being conscious, and it is just that moment to go, okay, how am I going to respond to this situation? Yeah.
And also, I think checking yourself when you start going, oh my God, what's going to happen if. So, don't focus on what you don't know. You can't control it. Catch yourself, bring yourself back.
That's it.
And try and be useful.
Absolutely. And that doesn't mean we don't prepare for possibility. We do. Totally. But at the same time, we, thinking about that, being conscious about it, being practical about it.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, everybody. If I know I don't usually promote people on Courageous Conversations, that's not what the podcast is all about. But just this once, if you have got any time in your next couple of weeks and need some training and some inspiration from this man, just reach out. He would love to be there.
Well, it's one of those funny things that it was just sort of not planned, and then this opportunity. So I appreciate you having me on, and
absolutely.
It doesn't normally go like this, so this is cool.
That's the way it rolls. So great to see you, Chris. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Awesome. Thanks, Leanne.
See you later. Bye-bye.